Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Ronnie Harrell.
And it was hard hitting, and it was I don't want to hear you cry about it. I don't hear any of that. You own it. You did what you did straight. But anyways, they took that book. I'm sure they stole it, and that's fine. They can have it. The majority of them dudes are unhelpable. It's just the reality.
Did you ever think that you would uncover this ring in prison?
I never look. Before I started trying to program and do all of this stuff, I wasn't on a yard with them dudes. One of them dudes hit the yard. I had them hit and butchered so fast, they wouldn't even make it through R&R before I had shooters on them.
They'd be like hiding in the weeds. They'd be hiding with their fake paperwork and things like that, right?
Well, hold on one second. I got this little dog. It's a snack for my other one, but it won't shut up.
You want me to pause it?
Or the freezer? I don't know. But he's just somebody knocked on the door. So
it's wild that they were able to do this in prison.
Right, they're still doing it because when you get three people that are okay, you take this. It's a Veterans Transition Center in Moreno Valley. Okay, at first because they're near a school, they wouldn't let I call them weirdos. Call them what you will. They wouldn't let none of these screwed up people in that program. Well, now, because of this Jenny Nestler sicko, she's associated with all of them. She prefers to be around them, especially, you can look it up. Mark Wade, look his case up. He's as sick as they come. I'm talking kids under the age of 5 and all that. They're allowing people like that in there. The Ron Self barely survived what they did. He's trying to put his stuff back together now, but he really was in it to help veterans. And they got a bunch of veterans convinced that that's the opposite of what he was trying to do. It's just, it was a weird scene. And, here was my thing. Veterans come to prison. They they come back from the war and they're screwed up, man. They got PTSD. And a lot of them don't tell you. They don't reach out. They don't, none of that. But eventually they start self-medicating. And then when that happens, the job's gone, all of that's gone, even if they're drinking. And especially if they're on drugs, they got to support that habit somehow. So they start doing these crimes. And they're not even criminals, but now they're doing that because they're strung out. And eventually the all roads lead to prison on that. So now they're in there, they got PTSD, they've never spoke to nobody. And you got all this violence and weird stuff going on around you, and it's hectic. And now you got PTSD on top of your PTSD, and there's nobody trying to help you. So my main focus first is, first we do at-risk youth, me and Chris Curtis, a shout out to him. First we do at-risk youth, because the best way to keep somebody from coming back to prison is to keep them from going to prison in the first place. So that's our first target. Then we do these vets, try to make these heroes back into the heroes they were, before they went to prison, and it's doable. And then it's the Universal Life Skills Program, which I wrote and run, and that's for everybody else, and they're extensive, intense programs. And I went to college for what I do, and I also went to the School of Hard Knocks. So I know both ends of the story. I know how the professor sees it from behind the desk in the book. And I know how the dope fiend sees it from being strung out like a research monkey and looking at that guy going, you don't know shit, man, you ain't lived it. So that's a dichotomy that I've been able to bring together that really gives me a better perspective than the average individual of what's going on with somebody. Like I know, so you got a drug addict, he's addicted to drugs and all of that. And he's also got these mental health issues. He never sees the mental health doctor at all. He keeps trying to quit drugs, but he always falls off the wagon. Well, you fall off the wagon because you've never dealt with that manic depression. You never dealt with that bipolar trip. You have to deal with them both. So in my book, before you go into addiction recovery, you do co-occurring disorders. And you learn about identifying that you may have a mental health issue. And before you start the addiction recovery, you go and look for help on that. So I've really researched it and done some in-depth stuff on it,
When you were first starting your prison bid and going through prison and at your peak of being involved with the craziness, did you ever think you would be at a place you are now, even with helping people in prison? And
yeah, you can ask anybody I know. So this woman runs a rehabilitation center and outreach down in Orange County, right? And her old man's in the joint. And he's telling her about this book and all that. They both know me on the streets, right? Back in the day. And she's all right. She gets the book. She's how good it was. And for about 3 months, she doesn't know it's me that wrote it. And finally, she snaps to the fact that, oh, this is really no way. You know what I mean? There's no way this dude's doing this. So, no, I didn't never think this would be me. You know, and my wife had a lot to do with it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She don't stand for a lot of crap. And our motto was, she got me thinking, you know, do the next right thing. And she got me thinking that I can do the next right thing. And I do, you know, and I ain't feeling like I'm backsliding. Oh, weird thing. The other day, I'm going to the store. The parking lot's full of cops, lights on and all of that stuff. For the first time, I didn't turn around and go the other way. Okay. I rolled right through that scene and into the store and went, and I stopped and I thought about it. I thought, wow, because I didn't even think about it. You know, and that's never went down with me before. I'd seen your interview with CDCR officer. I forget his name now. From High Desert.
Yeah, Bartos.
Yeah, Bartos. Look, that dude's the real deal. Okay, and you have your assholes, and you have your asshole inmates. But when he tells you about cell extracted, look, I've cell extracted 1,000,000 times. I've only had one common denominator through all of them, and that's that I never won. Okay, they always win. Like I go into Hazleton, that's where they just whack Whitey Bulger, right? So they killed him pretty quick. Hazleton's off the hook. I'm in the hole, and I get in there and I'm sitting next to this, in the cell next to this mobster, and the black shot caller on the other side, and we don't have radios. Everybody everywhere else in the system has radios. They can listen to music, talk shows, and all that. They've taken ours. So I tell the mobster, I say, hey, how long these freaking radios been gone? He goes, a couple of years, man. I said, oh, no, that's no good. What's going on? He runs it to me, and I tell him, well, hey, why don't you get your people? I'll get it, homeboy, on the other side, and we'll go hard. He goes, all right, boom. Well, so when we start selling, now here's what happens. Then we know things. I tell you, dudes in there, people aren't stupid. You know this. You start that cell extracting scene, what happens is this captain who might be at a wedding gets called and told he has to come back in right then. And he has to break off from whatever daughter's wedding he's doing, and he has to come back in there, and very inconvenienced, you know? So they come in mad. Well, they're going from cell to cell, and they got this new tear gas, and they got this thing called a spirit breaker and all that. They're gassing dudes out, you know, and dudes are fighting with them getting out, and some dudes are tapping out, they can't breathe. And they get to my cell, set the camera up, they tell me, Mr. Harrell, are you ready to come out of the cell? And boo, cuff up, and I tell him, I'll cuff your mother up, punk. They look at the camera. Mr. Harrell refuses to come out of his cell. They pop the tear gas. They throw it in the tray slot. It hits me like a shotgun blast to the chest. Boom. Again, he said, Mr. Harrell. And I tell him, didn't I tell you to cuff your mother up, punk? Looked at the camera. He says, Mr. Harrell refuses to come out. Pops another can, throws it in there. That can flipped me over and knocked the snot right out of my face. Okay. I can't breathe. The cell's so full of smoke. I'm on the ground. And I hear it again. Mr. Harrell, are you ready to come out? I come on the ground, drag me out. He goes, let the camera show that Mr. Harrell still refuses to come out. No. And they hit me with 4 of those things, man. And so I'm down in the shoe yard. I'm handcuffed. Well, you know, cuffs aren't nothing. You get out of those in a second. So I take them off. Boom. I tell them, yeah, you ain't getting these motherfuckers. You got to come get them. And the captain
now they consider that a weapon because you have the cuff, right?
Right. I tell him, you got to come get him, man. And he looks at the cop and he goes, hey, go get the gas. I threw him out of the thing. I said, nah, fuck you. You have those. I'm done with the gas. But then he tells me, well, what's going on? And I tell him, look, Captain, here's the deal. You know it's fucked up. I know it's fucked up, and everybody knows it's fucked up. He goes, and that's the problem, is that everybody knows. He goes, can you give me 2 weeks so it don't look like we bowed down to this behavior, and we'll give you guys your radios back. Okay, cool. And we got our radios back, but we had to do that. But no animosity, no hard feelings. Look, you know, they're going to show up. We're going to fight. You're going to do what you're going to do. You're going to gas me, however it goes. And that's just your job, you know? So when he tells you he's shaking hands with or talking to a guy like a man after he just fought with him,
yeah,
he's telling you heads up. You know, and then there's COs like him that, you know, he's not going to not do his job, but he's not going to do more than his job either. He's not going to treat you like a dog, like a turd. You know, he's going to come at you like a man, and you're going to come at him like a man. and he's not going to treat you like you're a prisoner and I'm a cop. That is blue and this is green. And there's cops like that in there, you know, and they garner the utmost respect.
If you just asked for the radios back, they weren't going to give them back. You have to
You
make a
ain't giving
statement.
them back. No, it ain't happening. It is not happening. You know.
Now, what if you guys didn't comply and they said we're not giving the radios? What next?
Well, we just do that all the time. We just keep doing it.
Yeah, and then there's no rest for anybody.
Nobody gets no rest. Nobody gets to go to no weddings. Nobody has no 4th of July barbecues. It's all bad for everybody. No, we're going to win that battle. It's just how much we have to suffer to get there. Captain, fortunately for us, just made us go through the one deal. You know?
Thank God, right?
Yeah, like in Terre Haute, right? Terre Haute's weird because the hole is down below, death row's up on top, right? So you could be talking to one guy one day through the vent, and the next day see him on the news, and he's over in the green room getting the needle. And Terre Haute, man, I've seen this lieutenant come in at night. Dude had a razor and was threatening stuff. The lieutenant says, "Hey, man, can I have the razor?" Dude said no. He said, "Okay." Shut the tray slot, walked down, got the block gun, walked up, opened the tray slot, shot the dude in the chest, shut the tray slot, walked back out. Left the dude folded over in the cell from that blast to the gut in the chest.
Man.
Yeah, based on a true story.
Terre Haute, how was that place? I've heard a lot of stories about Terre Haute.
Well, okay, I call them the murder twins, Timmy and Jeremy, right? And they were Aryan Circle, and I watched them literally cut a dude's head off there with box cutters. I used to call them the murder twins, but Timmy decided to cell extract one day, and he webbed up his cell. He webbed the whole cell up, so they had to cut through it and all of that. And then he took and he made a flame gill, right? Torch, and he had a knife. So, and he's already going to ADX. He already cut this guy head off, Timmy and Jeremy, and we're out on the yard at the time. So they get through this web, and the first guy's got this face shield on, right, with the helmet.
Yeah.
And he sticks that ball of flame right in between the thing and the guy's face. He runs out of the cell, and Timmy just goes ballistic, and they ran. Boom, shut the door. That's the first one I ever seen get one. And he come out later just cuffed up, snot and all of that. But yeah, he just wanted to go to ADX. He was tired of being there. You see some real crazy stuff. Going through Atlanta, when I was coming back through the second time, across from the I think they're Guatemalians or whatever they are, the Guatemalans. Well, there's two brothers. Guatemalans, yeah. There's two brothers in the cell, and they're in with a Mexican dude. And the Mexican dude don't know they're brothers, and he gets in a little get down with one of them. And they literally cut his heart out and ate it. They were throwing everything against the window, laughing, intestines, all of that. And then when the cops got to the window, they ate the heart. I mean, you never know what you're going to see, when or where you're going to see it, but it's a sick scene. And the thing is, you have to figure out how you're going to move past that. You know, you don't get to think about it. You got to move past that.